Cheyanne, obviously March was set up to be a beautiful day for the family, ended up being not the greatest day. I guess talk to me kind of what lessons you took out of that, how you kind of move forward from the setbacks.
I get that question a lot. It was a bad night. It wasn't my night, and it wasn't my husband's night. I went into that fight with a bad injury. It happened 2 weeks before the fight. I never spoke about it after the fight because I didn't want to blame my injury. I went into that fight knowing my body was still messed up, and I still wholeheartedly believed in myself. I do wish that at the end of the day my coach pulled me from the fight as the smartest decision, but I wanted it. I wanted to make history, and I went into that fight telling myself, not telling myself, I went into that fight just focused on making history in the UFC. And that was the one and only reason why I fought, was no matter what, win, lose, or draw, I'm making history, which is not easy to do in the UFC. So, that was a bummer that I did lose and my husband lost, so, we made history, but we also both lost, so that fucking sucked. But, after the fight, we went home and, we were happy, we were relieved the fight was over. It was a long camp, and we reevaluated some things in our training, and, I learned a lot from that fight, and, fuck her, but, on to the next one.
I think we're all curious, did you in fact follow that bitch home?
Oh man, the staff was on my ass as soon as I left that cage. The thing that was disgusting was obviously the girl spat at me and called me a effing puta, but not even our coaches shook my hand or my coach's hand. They're all cowards in my eyes for the night, and I still think so. And no, I did not get to follow her, but when I see her, she better step up.
Do you like I guess maybe not among casual fans, but among hardcores, that's a pretty well-quoted line. It's become a little bit famous. Do you like that that's a part of your reputation, or do you think, oh, I wish I wouldn't have said that?
Not at all. I'm real. I'm 100% real. I'm human. If you're going to disrespect me like that when I gave you nothing but respect, you bet your ass I want to slap the shit out of you after the fight. What pisses me off the most is you shook my hand at weigh-ins knowing damn well what you were going to do after the fight. That right there has coward written all over it.
We move forward, as you said, I think we were worried that for you and your husband, the emotions, like how that would play off and what that would do to you. Moving forward, is that something that you want to replicate again, or was that a very, kind of challenging thing for you both to compete on the same event?
Actually, the week after the fight, I'm setting up myself to get surgery with the UFC staff. They called us one day for JP for a fight, and then the very next day I get a call, and they were like, hey, do you guys want to fight again on the same night? And we literally looked at each other and we were like, hell yeah, let's do it again. It was the worst night of our life, but I felt like it was a redo. Like we can have a second chance, and I have no problem with every time fighting alongside with him. It's our job. It sucks we both lost. The world was against us. It was probably one of the worst nights of my life. Like, not only did I lose, my husband lost, and I got disrespected, and then the whole internet trolls want to just attack me thinking I'm shit now. So, if I could have gone and redone it again, we would have. We were actually both scheduled to both fight Saturday night together, but unfortunately, after doing the testing at the UFC, which we already knew, my husband is not a flyweight, he is a bantamweight. So, unfortunately, he had to get pulled from the fight, so luckily I'm still fighting.
Nice. Talk about the goal, I guess, coming in here. You feel like this is a fresh start, like you want to do something new, or is this, is just building on what you did last time?
You can always build on new, but I personally, I feel like coming into this fight, I'm a different person and a different fighter. I left Fortis MMA. I came back to my new team here in Vegas. My old team here in Vegas, where I basically grew up over here. I came to Vegas as an amateur. So I'm back with my old coaches, and I just feel rejuvenated. I feel like a different fighter. I look back at the last fight. Obviously, it wasn't my best night. It was probably one of the worst performances of my life, and I'm happy that I had that. After the fight, I kept telling God, I kept praying to God before the fight, why am I injured? I've worked my whole life to get to this point. Why am I injured right before my UFC debut that I've worked tirelessly and endlessly for? And then after the fight, I was like, I understand why. Everything happens for a reason, and Saturday night, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show the world exactly what I know I'm capable of. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get my respect back. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make myself proud, because this world has no idea. Because what they saw was absolute shit in my eyes.
Are you able to say what the injury was, or would you rather keep that private?
No, I have no problem with it. It was an elbow injury. I was actually supposed to get, actually before my contender fight, before the contender series got pushed back, I got injured with the same arm again, the same elbow. And then luckily the contender series fight got pushed back like a month and a half. So I was actually able to take the time to heal a little bit and then go into the fight. I wasn't 100% even in my contender fight, but I was able to extend my arm at least. And then so after the contender fight, the doctors were like, listen, you need the Tommy John surgery. And I was like, how long of a recovery is Tommy John? And they said, I'll take a year off. And I was like, no way. And so what we did was the stem cell injection. It worked for a few months, and then 2 weeks out from my debut, boom, my arm swelled up again. I couldn't move it, I couldn't extend it, I couldn't train. And then after the fight, they're like, listen, you need the Tommy John surgery. And I said, you listen. You go out there, you get headlocked for 10 minutes, and then you tell me that I need to sit out for a whole year after what just happened to me that night. So luckily, I actually got with a different doctor, and this doctor was awesome out in Dallas. He actually told me, listen, let's do the scope surgery. Let's clean you up inside. You definitely need to do the surgery, but let's see if that will help you. And then, if it doesn't, then we can do the big surgery. And that was the best decision I made, was doing that scope surgery, because I feel 100%.
So are you concerned at all that this injury might just be a reoccurring thing, or do you think that this has actually put it away for good now?
I feel it's put away for a good while now. I mean, I haven't had one problem. And moving back to Vegas, but being able to get with the PI, the staff, the therapist there every day, I mean, that's like heaven on earth right there. If it wasn't for those ladies, I don't know if I would be this good, but I mean, I came to them 7 weeks ago when I moved back here with a few injuries, small injuries, but obviously my arm was in healing process still, and I feel so good.
Your previous opponent just lost a fight. I get the sense that that's one you would like back at some point, and her record really doesn't matter about that. Would you fight her again off a loss, or do you need her to win so you can both climb and meet eventually?
Karma's a bitch. I don't give a shit what happens after this fight. I'm not the type to call anyone out. It's whatever the staff wants. Obviously, I want to fight her again. But, I mean, I don't have my eyes on just her. I have my eyes on Gloria right now. And then whatever happens after Gloria, then I'll reevaluate. I don't have a manager right now. So I'm very careful with what I say, but I am going to stick to who I am. And I am not the type to call someone out. But Conejo knows what the deal is with me and her.
Last one on this. You mentioned that she shook your hands at the weigh-in knowing what she would do after the fight. Do you feel that she was planning to disrespect you after the fight?
Yes, absolutely. Because I was so confused on why she did that. I shook her hand on stage. Listen, I am all game for someone to talk shit in a fight. I'm all game for that. Like, let's get dirty, let's get mean, let's get the crowd hyped. But after the fight, no matter what, you show respect. That's martial arts. I'm a martial artist. And what she did, I don't want to say I wish I could kill her, but I mean, I wanted to kill her.
If the staff hadn't stopped you after the cage, do you think you would have tried to fight her again backstage?
Oh, for sure. I would have tried to fight her right there, but the referee was right there. Like, to me, I'm a fighter. Whether I'm professional or not, I'm a fighter. And when you get disrespectful like that, the way I was brought up was you handle that shit right then and there.
Thank you.
Cheyanne? You mentioned that you left Fortis. Was there a reason for that?
There was multiple and personal reasons why I left, but basically the main reason is what I will come out with is, I missed my coaches here. When I talk about coaches, I talk about a team that built me. When I came here, the first time I came to Extreme Couture, I was 18 years old. And then when I moved here, when I just turned 20 years old, I'm 26 now. And when I tell you, I came to them when I was on a 3-fight losing streak as an amateur. And those coaches, Ray Sefo, Dennis Davis, Eric Nixick, they took me under their wing and we went on a 4-fight winning streak together. And then, I met my husband, and I unfortunately had to go to Africa to go be with my boyfriend at the time and now my husband. But when I called them to let them know, listen, I'm going to venture off to South Africa to try to see if this will work, Eric Nixick and Ray Sefo told me, listen, this is your home here, and whenever you're ready, you come back. And I always told them I'll be back, but unfortunately, due to visa reasons, we had to go to Dallas. So, because that's where my parents resided, and being with a foreigner, applying for a visa, I had no idea how it worked, but I didn't have any residency in Las Vegas anymore, so we couldn't go to Vegas at first. So now that we're in a position, it kind of sucked the timing. Like, I didn't want them to be like, oh, I lost and now I'm piecing out, but I never wanted to go to Texas, if I'm being honest. Like, I love the team, and because of the team is the reason why I stayed for so long. Like, those are a great group of people there, and, I built a friendship, but, deep in my heart, I knew I wasn't home. Like, when me and my husband sat down and we talk about our 5-year goals were not to be in Texas. So it was like, you have to follow your heart, and unfortunately, this is a very selfish sport, and, my husband was my main coach basically in Dallas, and I knew being at this level, I couldn't do that. He was my wrestling coach. He was basically my striking coach, because we didn't have a striking coach there, so we held pads for each other. We had built a home gym in our garage. So, I left a really good group of guys over here at Extreme, and it's not anything against Safe at Fortis, but they were the people that built me. And when I made that UFC walk, before I made the walk, I saw Eric Nixick in the back, and man, it makes me want to cry, because it was like I knew I was on the wrong side, Like, it's a fucking weight cut, makes me sad, but, it's like, damn, like, you just know deep in your heart, like, I knew I had to go be with them, but I didn't want to hurt anyone. So after my fight, I was like, listen, we need coaches and we need help, and unfortunately in Dallas, it's expensive there. Like, our landlord raised the rent on us like two weeks before we moved. We didn't have striking coaches. We were working so much in the gym to the point where we were working more than almost training, and it was tough life over there for us. And we knew in Vegas, it would have been an easier life. The PI is wonderful. I mean, that's definitely been a game changer for us. And here we're able to focus on being athletes, and that's it. It's no more Coach JP for me to my husband. So, for me, I was lucky I had him, but I knew he needed a wrestling coach. We're 0-1 now in the UFC. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and it was the best decision I made for us. So.
Your anniversary of your Contender Series fight's coming up. Can you just reflect on that fight?
The Contender Series was a great fight for me, obviously. A great opponent, too. She was very tough, and nothing really to say about that besides, I beat some ass, I got the contract, and I got Dana to follow me, so that was awesome. And, but that's the past. Really, only thing I'm focusing on right now is just going to get my hand raised on Saturday night.
And so both of your fights in the UFC have been the featured fight on the main card. Do you believe the UFC is putting you there for a reason?
What's crazy is when I was a kid, and I grew up in Taekwondo, I've always known that there was something about me, like my aggression. Like, there's no fighters in my family on my mom or dad's side. I had a little bit of a rough life growing up, but I've always just known, like, when it comes to fighting, like, I show that I'm a fighter. And I think I've showed that even in my last fight. I showed when times get tough, I'm going to persevere. And, Dana and the matchmakers are smart. So I feel extremely grateful that, actually after the fight, I told my husband, I was like, wow, I fucked that up. I was like, I'll never be back on the main card, And I was just like, damn. I was like, I got to go beat this next girl and show them, like, I'm a main card type fighter. Like, I truly believe I'll be headlining a card soon. But again, my focus right now is just on beating Gloria and just getting my respect back and just making myself proud again, because I'm not proud.
Do you have a prediction for the fight?
Oh, there's going to be a finish. I don't know how. I don't know when. I'm not that type, but I'm going for the finish.
And finally, do you want your next fight to be in front of fans?
Yes, of course. I am a fans type person. I mean, even as an amateur out here in Vegas, I was fighting in front of 17,000 people, getting that crowd hyped up. I mean, I am a type of fighter that feeds off that. And so I'm happy that there's going to be a few people here for sure. I definitely like to look out into the crowd and, get them started. Like, we're entertainers. We're not just fighters, we're entertainers. I want people to spend money on me. I want people to spend money to watch me fight. So, I mean, I would love to be on a pay-per-view card, but again, I know I'm 0-1. So I feel I just have to go out there and I just have to earn my spot back and I just have to solidify myself in this division.
Thank you.
Thank you.